Well, that weekend could have been a lot worse. Luckily, the Phillies salvage a Sunday game out in Seattle, and now you get your reward. Tyler Glasnow and the Los Angeles Dodgers up next. Welcome into the PHLY Phillies podcast. Let's get started. Welcome into the PHLY Phillies podcast presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Renee, Tyler, hope everybody had a good weekend. The Phillies experience since Friday night when we did postgame. Saturday sucked, maybe even worse. And then Sunday was maybe an awakening of the bats. Hopefully everybody had a nice weekend because Saturday night sucked. Sunday was cool. We'll see where the Phillies are tonight. But that pretty much puts a nice bow on the weekend. Friday was a disaster. Saturday was excruciating.
Okay.
Yeah, excruciating because you blew the lead. And then Sunday, the bats awakened. So that was the Phillies.
Did Saturday
All right, let's get out of here.
The end.
That's the end of the show. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Yeah. So, we talked about this Friday in our postgame show.
That was fun.
Of feeling so much fun of our 1 a.m. postgame show. For everybody that joined us, we appreciate
I'm like texting
you.
the bosses, like, can we please just get this over with and start early? Does it have to be a postgame? This sucks.
But you know what? Saturday made me realize it could have been worse. We could have been doing a postgame Saturday, which also sucked.
I would have had more anger. Friday, like, you just gave up early.
Yeah, Friday just was rough.
Because you just knew Tyler
Phillips
texted us
rocked.
and was like, Tyler Phillips doesn't have it. And then it was like, smash, ball's gone, like, immediately after his text. And I was like, yep, this one's
it's
over.
Like, home run. DJ. But I do feel like Sunday actually made me more nervous than anything. Like, I love the fact that the offense, we finally got to see home runs. We finally got to see Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, Bryson Stott, and I know we'll get into it as we wrap the weekend. But now the pessimist in me, because of how things have been going as of late, is like, great, you snap a 6-game losing skid. But is this false hope? And I can't help but feel
no.
I know.
You're infected bad.
I'm down bad, guys. I'm down bad. Like, part of me is like, this should be, and I actually tweeted this out because I'm trying to put up a front of like, this should be the spark. We saw a great play by Brandon Marsh. It swung the game.
That could be the point you look back to and go, wow, that was bizarre.
Huge game-changing play.
Right after the roadless, great catch.
You maintain the 1-0 lead, and then Bryson, Alec, Kyle doubles. Like, from there, the offense opens things up. The game drastically changes. That's a turning point. Even the fact that we got to finally see Bryce Harper break through, that's a turning point. The Phillies break the losing streak. That's a turning point. Or is it? Like, I want to be super optimistic, but I can't on this Monday going up against Tyler Glasnow and a very, okay, one last thought on my pessimism, but it's not one last thought because I'll give more. What makes me most nervous about all of this as we head into the Dodgers series, and what's up, guys? Nice to have you here. The losing skid began when, guys? After sweeping the Dodgers. Okay, and that wasn't the right answer. Try again. Right. After sweeping the Dodgers, you come back, the A's and then the 6 series straight, and now you're back to the Dodgers, who are obviously going to be feeling all types of emotions and frustration and ready to like prove that sweep was a fluke. I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm just nervous. But happy Monday, guys. Frank, Chris, Matt, everybody. Chris Lemon was first in the chat.
I think a lot of people are kind of feeling what you're feeling, which is
a lot of emotions.
Look, we talked about it last week. I said things aren't going to return to normal until Bryce Harper returns to normal. His streak was epically bad, like probably the worst of his career. And yesterday on the postgame, they were talking to him on the field. And although you didn't see a smile, you could like hear a smile. And it was a great message for baseball players out there. He was like, when little Johnny's going 0 for his last 100, don't tell him he sucks. Tell him that this is just baseball and this is the way it goes sometimes. And you got to stick to the grind and hit your way out of it. And I think he felt as though he broke through something yesterday.
Yeah.
3 hard hit balls. He looks like he turned a corner. Now you got to see if the trickle down effect is there where Trey Turner and JT Realmuto get going. Kyle Schwarber's kind of been a constant, a steady force in this. Nick Castellanos has been fairly steady. Bryson Stott, we've cataloged the troubles and the pitfalls this year. He hit one hard. I do think there's a Bryce trickle down effect here to the rest of the lineup. So in LA, it's going to be tough, but I'm really looking at JT and Trey as guys that gotta follow suit here. You got to pick this team up because you talked about it at the trade deadline. Jim Salisbury and people in the know basically said, you're going to win this team on the back of your stars you already have.
Bingo.
So those two got to get it going. JT's really struggling. Trey's really struggling. Bryce hopefully has turned the corner.
I hope so. In the chat, I know you guys are mentioning all the different emotions that you're feeling. I feel like we're in a scene from Inside Out.
We just watched that this weekend.
It's such a great movie.
Inside Out 2 is going to be an emotional roller coaster.
Inside Out 2 is adorable.
Losing core memories is tough when you have little kids that are like in core memory age. I'm like, oh God, they're going to lose that. Oh.
Well, I don't have these emotions bottled up and suppressed like in Inside Out 2. Anxiety is running rampant, and I am so nervous right now because, I know that we talked a lot about what it's going to take for the Phillies to come out of this slump. And a big part of that, as you mentioned, was Bryce Harper.
I think it's all.
And
I expect Trey. This is how much I believe this. I expect Trey to follow suit.
Okay.
I think he's going to come out of it. Hopefully tonight.
Okay.
But I think this Dodgers series, he's going to hit some balls hard. I don't know. There's just something about baseball's weird.
Yeah.
And when Bryce Harper's struggling like that, I think everybody started struggling. So now I'm hoping the inverse is true.
Well, also, we did see the history of Bryce Harper becoming only the 42nd player in Major League Baseball history to reach 3,000 total bases before turning the age of 32. And of the previous 41 players to do so, 30 are in Cooperstown. That's 73%. And Harper is only the 12th left-handed hitter to reach the 3,000 mark before turning 32. The first since Hall of Famer Ken Griffey Jr. gets that little accolade to add to the list. Once we saw the single in the 4th inning of the game this past weekend, that was exciting to see Bryce Harper have that moment Sunday. That was like, probably, I don't even think he knows. That's one of those stats you don't even probably know you're about to pass because there's 1,000 stats that are kept out here.
The baseball dork Bryce is, I have a feeling he knew.
But okay, so I'm glad you say that.
Maybe it contributed to
Correct, because I will say, I know personally, I had this happen to me myself. I was on the verge of eclipsing a major goal scoring milestone, and it was the back of my head, and I had like a whole scoring slump because I kept thinking about the next goal is going to break the record. And for Bryce Harper, when I saw that news that he officially that was his 3,000th total base, it had me wondering, is this something
maybe
that contributed to it? Because it does. That's like these are major.
I do not like that coffee I made.
Ew.
By the way, sorry for the foul taste.
Ew. Drink some water.
Well, I'm gonna finish it. I suffer through caffeine.
Okay, that's gross. So I hope that maybe getting that 3,000th total base off his shoulders. We did see as the game progressed, we finally got to see him contribute. Hit a home run. It's possible that maybe he was thinking a little bit about that, but it was a great moment. Again, I had no idea that he was on the verge of breaking 3,000 total bases.
I didn't know either.
So happy for Bryce. He continues to break some records, even in the midst of a slump. And I do hope, most importantly, as you mentioned, it's starting with Bryce. You've got to get something.
JT got to get
Nick
going.
Castellanos has been doing well.
He's been good. He's been
great.
Better.
He's been patient at the plate. He
sending the ball to right field.
Yeah, he's looked really good. As you mentioned, Kyle Schwarber with his leadoff home run Sunday. That 114.9 mile per hour home run was his 41st career leadoff homer, 10th of the season. And he has been someone that has quietly been giving you good at bats here and there, but we need more. And especially with how this team has been playing, I know it was great to see Zach pitch well. It was great to see the bats start to come alive. Like, things are slowly coming together. But today is going to be a big test.
Yeah, it is. Rich Hoffman is back from his vacation, so the morning newsletter went out today. And if you haven't signed up for it, you really, really should, because it's great. It's very informative. It's fun. And Rich included the Phillies OPS since the All-Star break. And I'm going to read it to you the way Rich wrote it. Kyle Schwarber, 960, no comment. Trey Turner, 514, yuck. Bryce Harper, 569, yuck times 2. Alec Boehm, 866. Brandon Marsh, 623, not great. Nick Castellanos, 762. JT Realmuto, 513, yuck times 3. Bryson Stott, 683. Rich says average-ish. And then Austin Hayes, 578. Welcome to the team. So there was 3 yucks in there, and one was Trey Turner. Then Bryce Harper got yucked 2 times, and then JT Realmuto got yucked 3 times. So pretty much your 3 highest paid players are getting the yucks. So I think, look, we'll get into the woes of the bullpen, because there have been a lot of struggles there recently too. Your 3 biggest paid players, more or less, are your biggest underperformers. So I say that to say it's not going to last forever. Hopefully yesterday was a sign that they're coming out of it. It can't last forever.
Right? It can't? Yeah, sure.
I say that with a little bit of a question mark.
Yeah, it can't last forever.
Last forever?
That's a big reason why the Phillies coming into Sunday had lost 6 straight, 13 of their last 17. And we're dropping games. You look at the losses that the Phillies had as of recent. When you look at the last 13 of their 17 that they've lost, or now I guess it's 14 of 18, whatever the number is, math. And for the Phillies, a lot of those losses were just, honestly, finding different ways to lose. It was, you get rocked early, Tyler Phillips, the game's over early. It was, you're up. You've got a 3-run lead. You've got a nice lead, and you lose the game late. You lose off a walk-off walk. You lose, they've been finding so many ways to lose, and that's something that
Rich
I actually wrote down.
I think it was 2 and 1-run games since the All-Star break. They've had 8 of, and they've lost all 8.
So and they've lost
every close game they've lost.
So they've also had multiple games that they've lost by being up by 3 or more runs, and the 5-0 lead they had on Sunday. They have lost 13 out of 17. The Phillies had a 5-0 lead in the 5th, and then they lost 13 out of 17 for the first time since 2018. You're setting records that you haven't done in years.
Yeah, JT's quote Saturday night was, "We're finding ways to lose."
And
games.
that's what when I heard him say that, I was like, I agree. And the spin zones of this though is just like you have to find ways to win, and it's important to learn how not to lose. And what better way to do that than to keep losing? But I also, in all seriousness, felt like, okay, maybe they're getting this out their system, because these are some ugly random losses of anything that can go wrong is going wrong. And this is the worst. This has been the worst stretch they've been on in 6 years. And to see this be all as great as the season started, with all the greatest since the modern era started, the greatest since whatever, it's also been the worst as of late in the last years. And I felt like, okay, you know what? It is early August. They're working through this. Obviously, they're going to hopefully get some injured players back, like a Ranger Suarez. There's some updates on him, Taiwan. But also, it's giving the Phillies a chance. I feel like, get it out your system. I hate to say it. I would rather this huge fall happen now. And I've said this every time they lose, I say this. But I feel like they need this wake-up call. You have to be able, if you are a team that wants to win a World Series, to close out games, to maintain leads, to give run support, to make sure that the offense is not just scoring 1 run early and then going silent the rest of the game, but to be able to hold on to these leads. And I feel like the Phillies needed this wake-up call. No matter how great you start the season, it does not matter if come August, now you're 4 or 5 games ahead of the Braves, or you're not able to even close out when the games are supposed to. So I really hope that all of this, whether the slump is over or not, is what the Phillies need, that we can look back on a couple months from now and be like, you know what? What slump? It was worth it. They got it all out their system. It's kind of like that last, hoorah, get it all out your system now. Find all the crazy ways to lose. Find all these ridiculous walk-off walks. What?
Yeah.
All these ridiculous ways to lose games, to blow leads, the amount of 3-run leads that they've blown in the last month are ridiculous. It's been double-digit losses.
Maybe you would say leads. They're not ordinary, like our friends at Bet365. They're never ordinary, Renee. And right now, I'm looking at the line tonight because Tyler Glasnow is going up against Aaron Nola. There will be Ks tonight. You can throw in a same-game parlay with some stuff from the same game. Maybe you think the Phillies keep it going with 2 in a row tonight on the back of Aaron Nola. But Tyler Glasnow, I'm probably going to throw in his Ks total on the evening because that man is good at getting strikeouts. And Bet365 has 90 million users worldwide. And one of the coolest things, they have early payouts across NBA, NFL, NHL, and MLB, meaning whatever the guide is for said bet, like let's say the Phillies are a 5-run lead, you can get paid out in-game instantly. They'll cash you out if you hit the certain threshold of the offer for the respective lead. So make sure you're checking that stuff out. At Bet365, they don't do ordinary because they believe every sport should be epic. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Use the code PHLY365 to sign up, deposit $10, and claim your offer. We talked about the early payout. Well, they also have Tuesday Bet and Get. If you wager $50 or more across Tuesday's MLB matchups, you'll get $25 in bonus bets. If you wager between $20 and $40.99, you'll get $10 in bonus bets. And at Bet365, they have over 10,000 boosts every single month. They boost specific markets, your winnings, and even parlays. So keep an eye out for our custom PHLY bets and boosts. I'm actually going to be working hand in hand with the lines makers to come up with some cool and creative stuff for us. So download the Bet365 app, use code PHLY365 when you sign up, and check out our boosts and see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in PA. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
Wow, look at you working hand in hand, making major decisions.
I'm actually really excited for this, to talk to like lines makers.
Wow.
Because that whole process fascinates me. I want to be a fly on a sports book when they're doing the algorithms and setting the lines and all that. I think that stuff is fascinating. So I'm looking forward to it.
That sounds fun and addicting. And you know what else is addicting? Some snacks. Do you have a snack attack? Do you want to have some delicious snacks to choose from when you have that late night, you know, you wake up or you can't go to sleep and you're like, I need something to snack on right now. Well, with Rite Aid, they've got the Elo Market. That's right. Their exclusive line at Rite Aid provides with a variety of delicious snacks that you can choose from. I just had some snacks myself that I added to my pantry myself. Because with Elo Market, they've got candy, snacks, and pantry items for you. Their candies, anything from classics like peach rings. I love peach rings. It takes me back to my high school days when we used to have peach rings in my school that I could purchase with my parents' money at the time, but now my own. Starlight Mints, Gummy Butterfly. They also have the different trail mixes and nuts and healthy snacks that you get that are packed with vitamins, minerals, healthy fats, fiber and protein, popcorn, buttery, delicious popcorn. They've also got sweet and salty. They've got cheddar. They've got sea salt, all the different flavors of popcorn, as well as some other pantry items. If you're looking for different seasonings and honey and different things you can add to your pantry, as well as granolas. With Rite Aid's Elo Market, you have the wide range of options to choose from. They're healthy. They're delicious. They're all different types of sweet and savory snacks. Chocolatey, peanuts, whatever it is you're looking to snack on, they've got it for you. And listen, as an adult now, I find myself excited that I get to buy the same snacks I used to beg my parents to buy for me for lunch back in the day. And now I can buy it myself. And you know the best spot to buy it? Right at Rite Aid with Elo Market. Because if you got that snack attack and you're looking to add to your kitchen, your pantry, you can buy today and get it delivered. That's right. With Elo Market, they've got same day delivery. You can, of course, go online, check it out at riteaid.com/shop to order, or always know that you can pick up in store at Rite Aid. So if you've got that snack attack, again, get Elo Market delivered same day, buy online, or pick up in store. Go to riteaid.com/shop to order today with our friends over at Rite Aid.
Thank God for Zach Wheeler. Before we move on to the rest of the series and the updates on Taiwan and Ranger and some of the rest, thank you, Zach Wheeler, for being Zach Wheeler again. It's a really Skylar, as you guys know, my 5-year-old will come up to me every day and say, "Let me see the lineup." And yesterday she saw the lineup and she got to the bottom where it said Wheeler and she goes, "Oh, goody. Wheeler's pitching today. He's the best we've got."
She gets it.
And I was like, you know what? Thank you for being positive, Skylar. The Phillies have stunk. And yes, you're right. Zach Wheeler's on the mound and he was spectacular yesterday. 96 pitches on the day, Doesn't get much better than that. He threw his fastball, the four-seamer, 40 times, 18 cutters, 13 sinkers, 11 curveballs, 8 sweepers, and 6 splitters. That is nasty work. Zach Wheeler made a pretty strong, hey, we're in August. Don't forget about me for the Cy Young case yesterday. So, probably going to come down to him, Paul Skeens, and maybe Tyler Glasnow, depending on how he finishes the season. But Zach Wheeler was Zach Wheeler yesterday, and the Phillies needed that big time.
Yeah, and honestly, one of the things that's a wild stat to me is how the Phillies are undefeated, and it's like 26 wins now when they have their starting pitcher go 7 or more innings. And for Zach Wheeler, that was his longest outing of the season. And in that now is, for everybody that cares and loves all these stats for pitchers of record, 11-5. But I love the fact that Zach Wheeler mentioned he knew today. He was saying this yesterday, of course. He knew Sunday that the team needed to win. He knew that, he had to go out. He had that mindset to be able to just go out and just do it, just lock in. He was saying it feels like they got quicker outs, which obviously helped him be able to go deeper into the game. That was a big part of it, the pitch count and just being able to get guys out quickly. But I just think this part was also so needed. As much as we talked about the offensive struggles, obviously the starting pitching has been abysmal. It's been rough. You've had to have Orion Kirkering be an opener. You've had to have Tyler Phillips get rocked in the first couple, inning and 2/3. And so I feel like one of the biggest things that we've seen from this team that's helped them, obviously, is the starting pitching. We've been raving. We've been blessed. We've been honestly spoiled with how well the starting pitching has looked. And for Zach Wheeler to go back out and reset the tides a little bit, especially after Saturday and Sunday, was that reminder of, nope, we still have the best pitching staff. We might be a little banged up right now, but we're still the best pitching staff, and was fantastic in his outing. It was great to see, and it just sets the tone. Like, as much as we talk about, I know Lisa mentioned that Brandon Marsh's catch was a game changer, and yes, I agree that was play. Wild. Bryce Harper.
Oh shit! Look what I found.
Yeah, he was like, I thought it was gonna hit my face. I was ready for it to hit my face. But when you look at those individual plays, what starts all of that is Zach Wheeler on the mound, and that is so vital for the Phillies to have had a chance to hold a team scoreless. Have a good lead, and then eventually, of course, give him the run support once they added on to that 1-0 lead.
9 Ks on the day, only one walk, through 71% strikes. Got 14 whiffs on the day. Tyler, what were your takeaways from Zach Wheeler yesterday, aside from being nasty?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
A sneeze, right when he cracks the mic.
It was sneeze, cough. As soon as it was a weird timing. Aside from being, dominant like you mentioned, he was exactly what you need and expect from your veteran ace. Like, this has been a skid like we've not seen this year. As Renee, as you mentioned, your bullpen's been taxed between Tyler Phillips only getting 5 outs on Friday night to Orion Kirkering being the opener, and it kind of pushes everybody up, an inning, and Jeff Hoffman ends up having to pitch the 6th, and Colby Allard gives you what he can
Rob
give
Thompson
you.
was not messing around Saturday night.
No, he was going for the hole to win.
Yeah.
And so I know we could talk about that, but the overarching theme was over the last week even. You can go back a little bit further, like against the Yankees, the bullpen got taxed. This team really needed length and success from Zach Wheeler, and he gave them both. 8 shutout innings, and the guys on the postgame show were talking about it. Ben Davis and Michael Barkhound were talking about it afterwards, and they're 100% correct. If this were a playoff game, if this were September, even if this were maybe the Braves or the Mets, Zach Wheeler's going back out for the 9th. And he's going for a complete
He's only
shutout.
at 96.
Or even if it's 2-0, he's going back out for the 9th. When they blow the lead up to 6-0, then you can kind of take your chances. You go to a Jose Ruiz, who is your low leverage reliever, because this kind of becomes a low leverage situation. But Zach Wheeler gave you everything that you needed when you needed it most, because this team was on a skid of proportions we've not seen yet this year.
Yeah.
And like you guys talked about, they were finding ways to lose. Nothing was going right. Friday night, you basically were putting balls on tees for the Mariners to hit. Saturday, you have to change your leverage around because you're going to Allard.
And it was successful until late.
So like the point being is, when you needed Zach Wheeler most, he delivered.
Well, how you feeling about Aaron Nola? Because we need him tonight.
I know, and I think the biggest key is when you look at this slump, and we've all asked, what's it going to take for the Phillies to get out of the slump? But also, most importantly, when will they be able to get out of the slump? And we know there's so many things that are going wrong right now as we talk about finding ways to lose. It feels like they're finding ways to blow leads, lose games. You need to get back to something you can control. And having Zach Wheeler be able to go deep into the game, go 8 innings, walk off the mound with a 0 that you've given up, most importantly, the most important stat, that is a controllable. That is one small thing that has that ripple effect to help your bullpen, to help your offense feel comfortable that you can play with the lead, and also to help for your team to just feel good. As much as we talk about Bryce Harper being the guy that offensively gets things going, Zach Wheeler is that guy in terms of pitching. He sets the tone. He's your ace. He comes out. He takes care of business. Now you go into today, Monday, going against the Dodgers in the series opener, and it gives hopefully Aaron Nola that ability to want to continue that. Okay, I saw my teammate Zach get it done on Sunday. It's my turn to go out and start the series off, continue that same pitching prowess, and continue that hot start into Monday's game. Hopefully.
I hope. Those are a lot of the positives. Let's get back to the negatives that this team has been buried in lately. Hopefully they're coming out of it. But the bullpen, and this was from Rich Hoffman's morning email as well, the bullpen has been horrendous lately. Since the All-Star break, the bullpen has surrendered 4.6 walks per 9 innings, which comes in at 27th in baseball. They're giving up too many free base runners is the crux of the issue. I know it's easy for me to say sitting here in our perfectly air temperature controlled, 70-degree room and say throw strikes. But I mean, that's kind of what it's boiling down to is the guys have to trust their stuff a little bit more, throw some strikes. Matt Strom's kind of been like, I think nibbling on the outside a little bit. Orion as well wasn't, he was going too much away from the fastball. Like, just grip it and rip it, dude. Throw some strikes. Estevez, has been throwing strikes. That's the main reason they went out and got him. But the bullpen has been problematic since the All-Star break. Hopefully they, like the offense, can pull out of it because when you're not getting, 3/5 of your rotation basically giving you those stellar starts anymore, you can't have both fail you at the same time. And the bullpen's been failing you since the All-Star break. Hopefully it is soon to be ended.
Yeah, absolutely. And some other numbers to add to it, since we'll continue with this negativity, is the fact that, and I finally found the stat because I have all these numbers and they're all bad numbers. The Phillies have blown 5 leads, 5 of 3 or more runs in this 5-13 stretch that they're in. The 4-13 stretch that they had going into Sunday was their first time doing that since September of 2018. And that 6 consecutive losses was their first time doing that since April 30th to May 6th of 2023. Now, the bullpen, as you mentioned, which was one of the strengths of this team, top in baseball, of course, hasn't been top as of late. The bullpen has, in the stretch of the last 17 games coming into yesterday, they had a 6.54 ERA in that time. And that was not including actually Garrett Stubbs' 3 relief appearances. Those were not contributing to the ERA. And it is the second worst bullpen ERA in baseball behind only the White Sox. The bullpen, of course, had a 3.32 ERA through July 11th, dating back to when the Phillies swept the Dodgers, which was the 3rd best ERA in baseball at that time, to then become the 2nd worst ERA since July 11th, excluding Garrett Stubbs' reliever appearances. So when you talk about the struggles of the bullpen and you see somebody like Jeff Hoffman go out, who had only allowed, prior to Saturday, he had been lights out. He had not allowed more than 2 runs in any appearances this season. And it was the first time he has allowed 4 runs in an appearance since September 3rd of 2021. He's allowed 3 earned runs in his last 41 appearances prior to Saturday, and then, of course, then turned around and allowed 4. Jeff Hoffman even had a game that we haven't seen. I think
everybody's
when
had
we
one.
talk about the finding ways to lose, getting it out of your system, these are streaks. I didn't know Jeff Hoffman hadn't had a game where he didn't allow more than 2 runs a season. I didn't know it's been since September 21 since he allowed, 4 runs in an appearance. Okay, get that off your chest. Get this out now. It's been Matt Strom. It's been Jeff Hoffman. Like, we've seen everybody have their moment of just like, that sucked. That was not good at all. And Jeff Hoffman, we saw that on display this weekend. But it's been everybody it's the opposite issue we've seen earlier. I remember us talking about everybody's finding times to step up and help them win games. Well, as of late, It was like everybody's finding times to be bad and help them lose games.
Yeah,
and it was Jeff Hoffman's turn.
Since the trade deadline, this was my friend Meech on Twitter pointed this out. Since the trade deadline, this was prior to Sunday, so Saturday night. You saw Garrett Stubbs pitch as many times as you did Charlie Sheen.
It's wild. Sad.
That's
bad.
That's real bad. That's
bad.
Hashtag analysis. That's bad.
They said, should we just start getting him some training? Is it time for him to just become a
I'm good
arm?
on seeing Garrett Stubbs pitch ever again. I don't really want to see that. I don't think he really wants to do it. It's a miserable experience. Please stop doing that. So with some of the steps to stop doing that is getting healthy. And there's 2 updates on 2 of the guys that we need to get healthy. And that is Taijuan Walker. And I know everybody in the chat is going to go, ew, Taijuan sucks, ew. Okay, fair, but he's better than Colby Allard. And the other update is on our sweet boy Ranger Suarez, who is we'll start there because that's a more positive one. He's going to throw a bullpen session today at Chavez Ravine. Woo. And apparently he's feeling quite well. The Phillies are not overly concerned about the lingering issue of the back. So he could, theoretically, I would imagine they want to get him a rehab start after a simulated game and some bullpens. So maybe 2 weeks away, maybe a week away.
Yeah, they were saying when the Phillies return home from this 10-game road trip that he could possibly return and that Colby Allard might just have one more turn with a possible opener again. So we might see just Colby Allard one more time, and then Rangers could be back when the Phillies return from this Dodgers-Diamondbacks trip.
Yeah, and then the update on Taijuan Walker. This was in Matt Gelb's The Athletic article. According to a scout who was down at AA for his start last week, he hit as high as 93 miles an hour on the gun, hung in the 90 to 92 range. His cutter played well, according to the scout, but the splitter was still very inconsistent. Probably just one more start down there before returning, so he'll probably rejoin the team on the East Coast as well. The splitter being inconsistent is troubling. The Phillies put him through a new type of 6-week conditioning program when he's been down with this to try and get some of the velocity back. If he's topping out at 93, I would say that looks fairly ineffective. Look, the reality is we need him because there's some serious innings to be eaten before the playoffs, and he is going to serve a pretty big role in this team. So you just kind of got to cross your fingers and hope for the best there with Taijuan.
Yeah, I know Rob Thompson was mentioning there's a chance Taijuan will return to the Phillies rotation Sunday in Arizona. It is something that's, listen, I know everyone's not the biggest fan of Taijuan Walker, especially if he doesn't have his stuff back.
The splitter is the thing. Yeah,
exactly.
That's worrisome.
Like starting with absolutely the splitter as an innings eater, that is very concerning because he is the guy that you want to help keep your starting rotation just balanced and be able to manage your bullpen properly and everything that comes with it. But Taijuan, we miss you, Taijuan. We do. You can't look at a Tyler Phillips, Colby Allard pitching and not want Taijuan Walker back.
They'll probably go to a 6-man rotation, I would think, in the next, once everybody's back, and Tyler Phillips will probably be the 6th guy.
Yeah, just to give some time to.
I don't know. Taijuan, he could help.
He could help. It's just concerning if his splitter's not there because that's partly why with the blister, we were okay with taking some time to get yourself healthy, get back, because he was saying it was irritating him. The blister was bothering him. Listen, Taijuan has a job, and we know what that job is. If he can't do it, that is concerning for the short term. But if they could have a 6-man rotation instead as a workaround, there's options there. But in the meantime, you got to get Taijuan and Ranger back. Spencer Turnbull's timeline still is very slow and delayed for that late August. So he's throwing off
a mound down in Florida, which is a little better than I expected at this point. I personally am not expecting much. They said roll when he returns is whatever they need it to be. I guess depending on his health as well. But an encouraging sign, he's throwing from the mound in Florida. Yeah. That's something. If he comes back, it's kind of like a cherry on the top. I'm not expecting it, but who knows? Maybe he does.
I like his pitching better than Taijuan Walker, but I definitely would like one of them back. Tyler, I think you've got stats on Taijuan, though, for us.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were talking about the splitter, and we've talked about this a million times. 2 years ago, it was his best pitch, and throughout most of his career, it was his best pitch. Last year, he had a 5-run value, and he threw it almost 1,000 times. Now, he did have a full season last year, basically, and this year he's not going to come anywhere close to that. But he had a 5-run value on that, which actually dipped from a 13 the year prior.
That's when they signed him, yeah.
But it was still...
we like this guy's splitter. Let's give him a deal.
It was still his best pitch, and it pretty much has been his best pitch ever since his velocity's fallen from, the 95, 96 he was throwing at the beginning of his career to now to where it's... Not now where it's at, but last year when he was sitting, 91, 93, it was clearly his best pitch. This year, he's only thrown it 148 times, which, by the way, is a dip from last year he threw it 33.2% of the time. This year he's thrown it 17% of the time. So he's basically halved his splitter, and it's a -6 run value. It for a while now, obviously, pitchers have surpassed him because they've thrown many more pitches than he has. But amongst qualified pitchers, for a while, I think up until the early portions of June, the splitter was amongst the worst in baseball when it comes to run value. Obviously, guys have surpassed him because he's not pitching very much. But he has 3 pitches that are -4 or less on run value. His sinker's a -4. His splitter's a -6. Now, his cutter, he's only used 97 times, but that's also a -6. You could take the sinker and the cutter out for what it is. The splitter, to me, and has been for basically the entirety of the season, is the most confusing, troublesome pitch because other than the blister causing him not to be able to grip it up properly, and because when you throw that splitter, you got to bury it in the back of your fingers so that you can get, I've always been told you're trying to push it. So basically you're getting your top fingers and your thumb to kind of come together to snap it down to get that downward rotation. Unless that's bothering him so troublesomely that he can't get that push to get the downward, the negative vertical break.
Talk RPMs to me, baby.
I don't know what's wrong with it, other than the fact that it's just flat. He goes from it being one of the better pitches in baseball 2 years ago with a 14 to it being one of the worst pitches in baseball this year at such a small sample size. It's confusing to me.
And it makes you wonder if it really is the blister or if there's more to it, because it's very concerning that this season you haven't had the same production and value that you've needed from Taijuan Walker. But you know what? There are places you don't have to worry about the production and the value dipping because it's always great, and that's with our friends at Shady Rays. That's right. Shady Rays gives you the best shades to rock every season, all year, whatever adventures you're looking to take outside, whether you're looking to go hiking, biking, go to the beach, go to the pool, go to a game, whatever it is you're looking to do outside, you can get ready for the season with quality shades built to last. And our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with these premium polarized shades that do not break the bank. They don't have the struggles of some other sunglasses that might break easily, that are just the design of it. It's kind of, I don't know, sometimes it leaves you with a little dent on your nose. With Shady Rays, as an independent sunglasses company, they offer these world-class products that are rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. And what I like about them, it's the sleek design. It's the way that you can get so many different colors that match your outfits because they have hundreds of options to choose from. So whatever your style, whatever your swag is that you're looking to rock, Shady Rays has a pair of Shady Rays for you that will go with your style. And then also with Shady Rays, you also have the convenience and the comfort of knowing if you ever lose them, break them, want to exchange them, you can do that with Shady Rays. They have the exchange worry free option for you as well, where you can always make sure to tap it and get that pair of Shady Rays that you do want. So today, exclusively for our listeners, you get a great opportunity to get the best shades, take advantage of the best deals, and head over to shadyrays.com. Use code PHLY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. You can try them for yourself. Again, the sunglasses and shades that are rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people, because we might be concerned about the ups and downs of the baseball season for the Phillies, but you don't have to worry about any ups and downs with these bad boys right here. Again, shadyrays.com. Use code PHLY and get 35% off your next pair of sunglasses.
Who likes $1 hot dogs and $1 Miller Lights? I do. I'm pretty sure Tyler does.
I like $1 Miller Lights.
Yeah. You're not a big hot dog guy?
Not a hot dog guy.
You guys know I love hot dogs.
But here's the thing. Renee likes hot dogs.
Yeah.
I like Miller Lite. We go in together.
Yeah,
we bring like $10.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. You guys are set because we have an event coming up for you at Top Tomato in town on August 29th versus the Braves, brought to us by our friends over at Miller Lite. We got $1 beers and $1 hot dogs. What is this, heaven? No, it's just Top Tomato in Center City. We're going to be giving away Phillies tickets, merch, and memorabilia. All you have to do is RSVP in advance to be eligible for the giveaways at allphly.com/events. Direct listeners, our diehards, we love you. We have a great community building here at PHLY. You got to RSVP for free, but $1 beers, $1 hot dogs. We'll be giving away memorabilia and signed stuff. So check out allphly.com. Go to the events calendar for upcoming events that include Phillies takeovers, watch-alongs, all sorts of stuff. There it is, the top tomato.
And you're back!
Of course, that photo will never die. Damn it. I'll get to the bottom of this one day. It's stupid photo. But Top Tomato is not stupid. $1 Miller Lights and hot dogs are never stupid. So check out the events tab at allphly.com. You get every team covered extensively, post-game shows, premium written content, including Jim Salisbury for us, all the terrific writers we have here. You get 20% off events. You get a free piece of merchandise when you sign up. And the members-only Discord in the PHLY Lounge, which is a great time. So hopefully you'll consider becoming a diehard and joining us here at PHLY. And I promise you it'll be a good time.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy, guys.
What, did that picture
If nothing
will never
else
die?
positive came out of this past weekend, the picture resurfaced. It's a great marketing photo, apparently, for our promos because we got to use it for the trade deadline. And I was saddened because with the end of the trade deadline meant the end of our lovely picture. But it's back. With the event April 29th, we have plenty of time to see it for the next 24 days.
Before we move on to the rest of the show.
I'm going to figure out a way one day to do it live where I'm just like kind of stretching it. And it's going to start really tiny.
Yeah.
And it's just going to make its way to the whole page by the end.
Such a horrible picture. Let me just bitch and complain real quick about the umpires. Saturday night, the umpire grade comes out in favor of 1.3 runs in favor of the Seattle Mariners. Renee, how many did they lose by on Saturday? 1 run?
Uno.
That seems pretty big. Now, there was one call that got deemed the worst, and it was the Charlie Sheen pitch, low and outside. That was 1,000% a strike. A blind man could have called that a strike. Now, I think there's two things that happen on that play. One, the umpire screwed up royally. Two, I think there was a miscommunication between Charlie Sheen and JT because he was setting up inside and high. The ball went outside and low. So JT wasn't able to frame it, which I think, his quick motion low and outside, I think, contributed to the ump calling it a ball. But that was a strike 3. Yeah. We all know what happens next. The umpires were terrible, and we've been talking about this now for 3 weeks. It's not why the Phillies are skidding. It's all terrible all around baseball. It seems like it's just getting worse and worse. We really need to implement something. Like, the technology is there. A new rule is there, whether it be a challenge system or the ABS, whatever. I don't care. Something has to be done. It affects too many games.
It does. And unfortunately, it's for the Phillies because of how badly they've been playing as of late. You can't say it's just the umps that are costing them games, but in reality, when you look at some of these losses over the last few weeks, there have been some major game-changing missed
really bad
pitches that do change the game. You go from
you walk in the next batter right after it.
Yeah, and there was I forget which game it was that Ranger was pitching. Even like it's not even just last month. We've seen this season.
It's been bad.
It's a clear strike. They call it a ball. You're walking guys. The inning should be over, but instead they're still pitching. Like these things do have an impact on the pitch count, and then eventually on the score, on the result. So while it's not just the umps, there are some games you can point to, and you wonder, had that been called correctly and the ump got it right, would that have changed the outcome at all?
Saturdays
really,
would have 100%.
Exactly. And I personally, if you guys pay attention to something I always say in every show for whatever sport it is I do not believe you leave the game up to any official umpire, referee, whatever the sport may be. You don't leave it in their hands. But it is their job to manage the game. But when it comes to
strikes and balls, it is literally in their hands.
It is their job to get the calls right. It is their job to manage the game correctly. And if they're not doing that, now it causes a ripple effect. You've got guys pissed off and frustrated. Now they're worried about the ump instead of worried about the game. Now you're giving up walks. Now the innings go. Like, it does have a ripple effect that runs to the team, especially when you're losing a lot. Like, if you're winning games, you're not really, okay, the ump just sucked. But when you're getting bad calls and you're losing, it's like you're just pissed off. And now you're angry over all these things instead of just being able to focus on the next at bat, the next play.
Yeah,
so it is frustrating.
Nobody
that they're
likes
still
talking
messing
about the
up.
umpires,
No.
but like you've implemented
how long
things.
are we going to talk about the umpires though?
You've implemented stuff in the minor league systems to get ready for this moment. It's worked. The
Yeah.
players like it. The umpires don't mind. The managers are good with it. Like,
Yep.
why are we not implementing
And
this?
like K-Red said, it's bad when you've got Zach Wheeler pointing and yelling at you. You know,
Yeah.
like we all thought, okay, Angel Hernandez, and Lisa's saying everyone's trying to be the next Angel Hernandez. Angel Hernandez is in we don't have to worry about him anymore. Well, it feels like everybody's fighting for that next Angel Hernandez spot. You don't want to be the hated ump. Just get it right. Just
Tyler,
stop being so bad.
I saw
I don't understand.
your eyes kind of show interest
I
in
mean,
this conversation.
It's across baseball. I'm just going to give you some scorecards.
Yeah, it's definitely across
over the
baseball.
course
First,
of the
give
weekend.
us your face.
Okay.
I don't know if you want that, to be honest with you.
Tyler, the people are clamoring for your
so-
face.
Oh,
This is just over the
clamoring
course
for
of the
your face is
weekend. So
hilarious.
just Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. Guardians, Orioles. And I'm just going to give you called strike accuracy, because called strike accuracy through Major
What's
League
league average? 94?
88%.
Oh, 88. Okay.
Which
Really?
is lower than you expect.
Yeah, I would have
but
expected 92, 93.
John Bacon, Friday night at Cleveland, Baltimore, 81%. Missed 9 of 47 pitches within the zone. You're just going to have to bear with me as I scroll a little bit, because there are some good ones, right? Like, I will give you Alan Porter, 98% accuracy with called strikes. He missed 1 pitch inside the zone. So this isn't an overarching thing. It's just the fact that
Some guys are really bad.
Yeah, let's just trying to give you some of the worst ones. Here you go, Doug Eddings, Houston, Tampa Bay, Friday night. 75%. He missed 9 of 36 called strikes.
I can tell just by
in
his
the zone.
name that he was going to be bad.
And that's the thing, too.
Did not pass
Here,
the
I'm going to
test.
give you the next one. Laz Diaz, good or bad?
Bad.
78% on Saturday
Oh, my
night. He
goodness.
missed
How
12
old
of
is Diaz
55
New
now?
segment.
pitches.
Guess that ump's.
Yeah.
How bad was that ump?
Here you go, Junior Valentine, 79% on Saturday night. Pirates and Diamondbacks missed 9 of 43. DJ Rayburn, 82%, missed 10 of 55. On Saturday night as well. The point being is you can scroll through these umpire scorecards on any given night, and you're going to see at least one umpire pretty well below league average of 88.
Well, the Phillies got him on Saturday night, and look, the Phillies have stunk. I'm not saying the umpire cost them the game, but that was a huge moment in the game
game-changing play.
when Estevez throws a strike that should have gotten you out of it.
Can I say something about Estevez really quickly? Because as we know, Estevez has come in as the guy to be, the closer for the Phillies, or in that closer by committee role and a high leverage guy. And we saw him this weekend. He pitched his second inning for just the third time this season. Of course, he had to. And stats aside, pitching aside, I think I really like this guy.
Yeah, he seems like a good dude.
Everything he says, it feels like he gets it. And he was saying post-game, winning team, first place, everyone wants to be on a team like that. They were like, we're doing really bad right now, but we've got this. He's like, I know you guys got this. I know we got this because I've seen it. Like, it's such a small quote, but I take everything he says and I'm like paying attention to it. It just feels like he's so team first. Like, he kind of was coming into this with this idea of, no, I know you guys have got this. I've seen you be great. I've watched from afar. Now we've got this as a team. And, everything from the beach comments and from him just being so team first and understanding the winning and just appreciating being here. This guy is really growing on me. And I know we brought him in with the expectation to be a great bullpen arm, but I feel like as a clubhouse guy, he's a really solid addition to the team because he's just bought in already. Like, he's just so happy to be here.
I'm sure they talked to Jeff Hoffman at length about him before making that move.
Everything that he says, I feel like I haven't heard him say a single thing that I'm like questioning. Like, every quote, every demeanor, action, behavior I've seen from him is like, this guy is a Philly through and through.
All right, let's look at the Dodgers series here. Hopefully the bullpen and the offense can come out of their funks. This is a really good test right now. 3-game series with the Dodgers. We find ourselves in the situation of old where we're counting on Aaron Nola. Please, sir, go out there and deal a little bit tonight and give the Phillies a chance versus Tyler Glasnow. Glasnow is phenomenal. He's going to be there amongst the Cy Young finalists. He's a large man, 6'6", ton of strikeouts. Problem with him in his career has been health. But he is, I mean, this is a nasty pitching matchup tonight.
Really good in Peaky Blinders.
Yeah. Yeah, Cillian Murphy. I didn't know he grew to 6'6" with nasty stuff on the mound. But him and Aaron Nola, the best matchup tonight across Major League Baseball. Tomorrow night, Christopher Sanchez, who's been spectacular, against Clayton Kershaw. That guy just never seems to go away. Who is back up for the Dodgers and pitching for them. And then on Wednesday, Tyler Phillips versus Gavin Stone. Gavin Stone, the young kind of stud for them, is having a really nice year. 3.63 ERA with 87 strikeouts on the year. So certainly not an easy series. The Dodgers are getting some encouraging news on their injury front as well. We'll get into the Freddie Freeman situation in a minute, but I would expect him back this series. But Yamamoto is throwing through a bullpen session for them. I think just this past weekend, and Dave Roberts was very impressed with what he saw from the velocity. Walker Buehler also close to making a return. Max Muncy close to making a return. Mookie Betts is doing a simulated game on Thursday, and if he responds well to that, could begin a minor league rehab. So the Dodgers are getting stronger. You know, it is what it is. This is a really tough test. It would be great if the Phillies take 2 or 3. I think you can say they're back.
Yeah.
So it starts with Aaron Nola tonight, though. And Tyler Glasnow, very good.
He's not pitched against the Phillies, actually, in his career, which is interesting. So it's the first time for Tyler to pitch.
Wait, no. 3 appearances versus the Phillies in his career.
Really?
I think Gavin Stone hasn't faced them.
Oh, okay.
Glasnow has an ERA of 6.23 with 15 strikeouts over 3 appearances versus the Phillies in his career. So this guy sucks. So they should light him up tonight. That's what that tells me. 6.23, you stink.
On a real note, he has struggled a little bit over his last couple of starts. So since June 29th, when he faced the Dodgers, he's given up 15 earned runs over the course of 21 innings pitched. The whip has gone up from 0.87 all the way to 0.96, guys. So, you know, he's really just But I joke there, obviously, but he has given up 5 twice. He gave up 2 and 3 over his last 2 starts. You know, obviously a bounce back, 7 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, much better, 8 strikeouts. But he struggled against the Dodgers against the Giants, and then followed it up with 6 innings with 5 runs over 6 innings, 5 runs over 6 innings against Milwaukee. He is still really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of a downward dip over his last 4 starts compared to what he had over, you know, the first 15 starts of the season.
And Renee, it has been since 2018 the last time he saw them. He saw them in 2016 when he was a very young pup with the Pirates, and then twice in 2018. Has not seen them since. So it's been 6 years since he's basically seen the Phillies.
And for Tyler Glasnow,
and those teams stunk back then.
Opponent's batting average is a .188. He has, in his 121 innings pitched this season, shown you exactly why the Dodgers were correct in bringing him in with his not only 3.50 ERA, but also just how he pitches. He is somebody that is a game changer for them. And I think the one thing that I actually like about this series that has me positive is when you look at Tyler Glasnow in terms of, the Dodgers in terms of Tyler Glasnow. You added Jack Flaherty. You have, they're getting guys back from injury. They got Clayton Kershaw back. The better this team is doing, the better I think the Phillies will step up for this series. Because I know we talked about this heading into the Mariners series, and of course it didn't work out well. But the Phillies had gotten up to play the Dodgers last series. That's why they talked about, something they talked about with that sweep was, we wanted to make sure we showed up, showed who we are. It's a big series. Everyone's paying attention. And so I do feel like with all eyes on the Phillies-Dodgers series because of how both teams have been trending as of late, hopefully the Phillies can use this in a series that everyone is expecting them to lose. Let's be honest. You just dropped 6 in a row. You've lost every series open in the last 6 series. You've been bad. We're finding ways to lose. People are probably looking at this as, all right, the Dodgers are going to come in and get redemption, probably sweep the Phillies. Phillies have no pressure right now. They've been dropping games left and right. So go into this game. You have a chance to just go out there and just play. So hopefully I'm trying to bring the optimism back. Hopefully that is something that helps this team.
Yeah, I feel very confident in Christopher Sanchez. I feel lukewarm confidence in Aaron Nola. Tyler Phillips had his blow-up game. I don't know how I feel about him yet, but I don't want to bring him into the muck. All right, let's do some news and notes around Major League Baseball. We just alluded to it, but a tremendous story from Freddie Freeman and his family yesterday, as their son Max has spent 8 days in the ICU with a rare neurological condition that the body's immune system damages its nerves. It's called GBS, Guillain-Barré syndrome. I don't know if I'm botching that at all. So excuse me, I am not a medical professional. But he spent 8 days in the ICU. He looks young, probably in the 3 to 4 range. I can't imagine what that would be like. So they got good news. He's back home, out of the ICU. Really, really great story there. So I would expect Freddie Freeman, who's missed the past week for the Dodgers, probably to be back, if not today, tomorrow, or maybe Wednesday. But Freddie Freeman back with the Dodgers, and good.
Yeah, for
I
Freddie,
hate to say, like, one of the best players in the league coming back to your opponent is a good thing, but this is a great thing.
This is a great thing for Freddie and Chelsea. Their son Maximus is just 3 years old.
He's 3, yeah.
3 years old, and you're in ICU for 8 days
imagine.
dealing with a rare neurological disease or disorder that there's a lot of unknowns around. It's scary, it's confusing, and as much as we talk about baseball and sports, to hear that he had to miss the game, I was like, good, go be with your family. Go take this time. That's so many emotions. I cannot even imagine. I hope that everything is okay. It is encouraging to hear that seems like he's getting better. And for Freddie Freeman, we're actually happy to see him back out there, because that means that things are moving in the right direction.
So good stuff there. In other positive news, the piece of shit that destroyed the Jackie Robinson statue, he just got 15 years in jail. So enjoy your time, dickhead. Okay.
What he said.
Yeah. The Chicago White Sox, they are one game away from greatness. The White Sox yesterday, #FreeHerb, are the first team since 1988 to lose 20 games in a row. They now stand one game away from the all-time AL record. I've always said, if you're going to suck, be the suckiest. Lean into it. Like process era Sixers. Go for that title of 10 games won on the year. If you're the White Sox, you just got to throw tonight. Go get that record, baby.
Listen, if you can't be good, be historically bad.
Yeah.
It's cue the Titanic. It's been 84 years.
Yeah. I can't imagine doing 20 games.
It's been 27 days. 27 days since the White Sox last won a game.
Oh my God.
And as you talk about that 1988 Orioles team, they became the first team to lose 20 games in a row since then. Just the 7th team in Major League Baseball history to lose 20 games in a row.
That's impressive.
They are putting themselves, listen, Chicago White Sox, you are cementing yourselves in conversation and categories of one of a kind. There are not many teams that can say they have accomplished the feats that you have. And like you said, it's historic. This is a historic season that we are currently watching. It is impressive to be this historically bad. But #FreeHerb.
I will say, though, it could be worse. This possible 21 game losing streak could be worse, because as you talked about, that 88 Orioles team was the last team to do it. It's got to suck even worse to start the year 0-21 the way that they did. Because I think that would be worse than all right, we're 110 games into the year. We know we stink. This is just our manager's going to get fired. You traded like half the good players. The other half are in this weird, like, not tradable, banished.
Now the word is they're going to get major league caliber players for Crochet in the offseason.
It's certainly possible.
That's why they're waiting to milk it.
I will say, as bad as 20 in a row is, I think it would be objectively worse to start the year 0-21 because you are out of contention.
Because then you just give up the first month of the
season. Well, that's the thing. Like, you start the season
I'm pretty
off
sure
that
their
way.
manager got fired that year, if I remember correctly.
Well, here's the thing while you're looking that up, because what I always think is crazy is when the entire offseason and spring training, like, yes, new season, we're starting this season off fresh. Everyone's 0-0.
It's like the Family Guy
chance.
skit for the Mets.
It's
It's opening day and the first pitch for the Mets and the season is over.
like that is the biggest slap in the face to come back to the season. Everybody's so excited opening day. So excited those first few weeks.
Should be a national
Baseball
holiday.
is back. It should be a national holiday. And then it's like,
Yeah, we suck.
all right, the season's over 21 days in.
And then the last news and note from around Major League Baseball, the Orioles and Yankees are now tied atop the AL East. The Orioles had a rough go of it in Cleveland as the Guardians are quite good. So they're tied atop the AL East. Now, this story, I did not think I would ever read this title, but Jackson Holliday is on a 3-game multi-hit streak. And according to MLB's Jake Rill, he reported that the cause of Jackson Holliday getting out of his little funk is Golden Tee, the video game. Apparently, the Norfolk A's have a Golden Tee in their locker room, and so do the Cleveland Guardians. Jackson Holliday attributes Golden Tee to snapping him out of his funk. He said when he plays well in that, it translates to the field. And Jackson Holliday set 3 course records on the Cleveland machine this weekend. He was minus 26 at Baja Ria, minus 23 at the Hidden Temple course, and a minus 23 at Monte Zabalos. So Jackson Holliday just ripping up the Golden Tee.
It was not
And it
the
fixed
words.
his baseball
It was
game.
not the words of wisdom of being the son of a former All-Star Matt Holliday. It was not being on a great team like the Orioles. It was
none of
not
that.
being none of that. It was for this 20-year-old, like true age as his age is showing. It was a video game. Classic move for a youngster, and I feel old because I'm like, kids these days.
Oh, I'm surprised he actually, when I read it, I was like, wow, because I thought Golden Tee was more like my and your generation thing. I didn't know that the kids.
I don't even know Golden Tee.
You don't know Golden Tee with the ball and you shove it? You ever see people like slamming the arcade machine?
Oh, I thought it was a video game.
It is, but it's an arcade.
Oh, I do know that.
The true
Have it at,
Golden
like
Tee.
sports bars a lot.
Yeah. I
It's
thought
the
it was
one where you
literally
like
an
smash
actual.
the ball.
Oh, well, you know what? Maybe it's good to get all that energy
Yeah.
and anger
Locks
and
'em
whatever.
in.
Get all that out. Like
3
probably,
course records on the Cleveland
yeah,
machine.
and I feel like it gets you.
yeah.
You got to
So,
hit that hard.
Next time the Phillies go into a slump, that's what I'm going to leave that one alone. Maybe the Phillies can get a Golden Tee machine in their locker room
Whatever.
to break out of the next. I do that to my wife all the time. I'm sorry. It was just muscle memory kicking in.
Fine, it's totally fine. This is fine. But I think that's a great way to just kind of let's get some more
Get the
Golden
Golden
Tees.
Tee in
Everyone
the-
needs
in
a
the
Golden
locker
Tee
room.
in the clubhouse. Make it happen.
Maybe snap out of your funk a
It
little
is
early.
crazy to see. Now the Phillies are officially not the best record in Major League Baseball, and that happened very fast with their 66 wins.
But
They're
at
now
least the division lead
below.
is 6. We talked on Friday night that it could
is
be
true.
4 or 3. So
This is true.
Thank
This
you,
is true.
Marlins.
But it's like a win-win because the AL, you've got the Orioles, the Yankees, the Guardians that have 67 wins, which kind of takes a little bit of that pressure off of the Phillies a little bit right now. Of like, you don't have to be the best in baseball. You are just one of the best in baseball, but you're still sitting in a good spot where you are in a nice lead against the Braves. But to have 2 wins in the last 10 games and all the losing is not great. But today's going to change.
Yeah, I actually
I'm going to just keep with
I
all
feel
the
quasi-positive.
contradictory statements.
For some reason, I feel like they're going to hit Glasnow tonight. The Phillies on the Bet365 lines tonight.
What we got?
They are a plus 110 dog. The Los Angeles Dodgers minus 130 favorite. So I don't know. I feel kind of good. I hope I'm not reading too much into one game, but I really do believe Bryce Harper, he came out of it, and the rest will follow. For Tyler Zulli, Renee Washington, I'm Jamie Lynch. We will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to be doing some post-game duties. And then Friday, Tyler and I will be with you at 11 a.m. So looking forward to the rest of the week. Hopefully, we have good things to talk about the remainder of this week. Please, Aaron Nola, we're begging you. Give us a good game tonight. We'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. here on the PHLY Phillies podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.